Hello friends, here I am with new story. I hope you all like the video and subscribe to my channel. So let's start the video with summary. His mother was wisdom and his paternal family are the elements with a never-seen combination of lineage. As if being the only child of Roman and Greek relations to be born from an Olympian was not enough, he is the grandson of the storm, and great-grandson of the moon and the sun. With such lineage he will take the world by storm. Good Zeus, Naruto harem incest, Shinto Uchiha Naruto. Elemental Nations PT 3 of 5 people talking, Wave angry gods talking, Wave people thinking. Wave Bajus / angry gods thinking. Wave Jutsu technique. Wave NA, I'm back, please let me know your thoughts on my story. ANBU recruitment. It's been a year of Naruto living with his now surrogate mother and his cousin. At first Sasuke didn't like the idea of his younger cousin leaving with him, but after 2 months of Naruto getting close to him he learned to like his cousin. During this year Naruto trained day and night till exhaustion. He also served in the academy as a teacher for 8 months, sending a shadow clone to act as an assistant for the teacher in Sasuke's class. During those 8 months Naruto taught the weapon trajectory class and shuriken jutsu class. From his clone's experiences he learned that the ones that were the most promising in those fields were Mito, Sasuke and the little sister of the ANBU Neko. In those months he acquired some friend of his age and became friend with some of the Jonin from the village and some other Chunins, his closest friends being Yagao Uzuki and her fiancé Harade, Kakashi Hatake, My Guy, Sharnui Genma, Izumo and Katetsu, Kurenai, Asuma Sarutobi, and Mito Uzumaki. He often spared with Yagao and Ai to perfect his Uchiha Kenjutsu style, Kakashi to help him in his use of ninjutsu, and Guy to help with his taijutsu, while his Oni helped him with his Mangekyo. His Mangekyo training was going smoothly, though he is going to need the transplant earlier than expected due to his overuse of it. His favorite part of his Mangekyo is his special ability being Kagutsuchi, which gave him complete control of the Amaterasu flames, giving him the instant release, meaning his fire affinity was in its highest, and the ability to call up storms with his other eye due to his mastery of storm release. Today we see Naruto walking into the Hokage office. The old man called him today saying something about the ANBU commander having to talk to him about something important. Hokage-sama, Dragon-sama, what may I be of service for? Asked Naruto with his Uchiha demeanor on. The ANBU commander liked what he saw. This kid was the perfect image of a soldier. Hey Naruto-kun, I am calling you today because it seems that some of your peers seem fit to give you a promotion. Naruto nodded but had a question, saving it for after the Hokage stopped talking to not cut him off. You see, some of my Jonin say that you are fit for the position and you have an excellent mission record, but I feel you still need some more experience, though someone here feels you are ready for another job. Naruto looked a little curious about that last bit. And who might that be, Hokage-sama? He asked stoically. That will be me, said the ANBU commander, feeling that this would be the perfect moment to give his proposition. The old ANBU commander speaks highly of your skills, and I know he is not the type to throw prizes at anyone who doesn't deserve them. Plus one of my subordinates speaks highly of your Kenjutsu skills. The Jonin say you should be a special Junin at the least, meaning that you are something if so many people wish for your ascension in rank. To put it in a nutshell, I wish to test you to see if you are all that people say you are. Depending on how you do it, I would like for you to join ANBU. What do you think about it? Naruto wanted to jump at the opportunities, but first, he needed to see the pros and cons of this so-called test. With that being said, he looked at the ANBU commander and said, before anything, Imikote Naruto, what are the pros and cons as well as the test parameters? Because even though this is a good offer, I'm not jumping into it blindly. Information is the ninja's biggest weapon, and without it, it's their major downfall. He said in a serious tone. He was not going into his probable death blindly. The Hokage and the commander were impressed with this young man. The commander smirked under his mask and said, well, good that you asked, because if you didn't then I was not going to tell you what was needed of you and throw you into this test blindly for you to figure out while doing it. You are just like your brothers, he said, knowing of how Shisui acted before his death and Itachi before his defection. With that, the commander told him about the test being an actual mission of him eliminating little camp of Beta-A rank ninjas that were in the outskirts of a close-by village. According to the commander, there were 2 A-class missing nins and about 30 B-class missing nins. He had to eliminate the camp however he saw fit, but it had to be done in the time frame of 3 days, half a day to go, 2 days to do it and 1 day to come back. He was given a blank mask with no design and ANBU attire. The mission was set to start tomorrow. His time was going to be counted from the moment he leaves the village. Going home, Naruto told his aunt about his mission and the purpose for this mission. Makoto was a little worried but believed that Naruto was capable of completing this mission with minimal damage to himself. After you come back from the village, we are going to transplant your father's eyes into you because I could tell that you are using a genjutsu to cover your eyes right now. She said, seeing that Naruto was becoming blind but didn't say nothing to not worry her. She remembered that when she gained the Mangekyou she had to transplant her mother's into her and her brother transplanted hers into his. He saved his original for his kids. When he died, Shisui transplanted his original ones into him and saved the ones her brother had before he died, meaning that Naruto was going to be having her original eyes. She wondered if his eyes were going to become black or were they going to keep being in stormy gray, like Athena's. She had a feeling that they were staying the same stormy gray after all. Unlike her older brother, she remembered what her father's energy felt like before he died when she was 8. Being a sensor, she remembered every person she came into contact with. One day, hugging her best friend Athena, she felt something similar to her father's energy but at the same time different. That day she understood she was not an actual human, or at least not fully human in the very least, and now feeling Naruto's energy she was sure she had to be a goddess of the sort. She could always pray to her father and ask him. She might just do it today while she prayed for her surrogate son's safety. Test. We now see Naruto jumping from tree to tree at mid-ANBU speed. He was thinking about this last year and how much he improved in such little time. Damn, those resistance and gravity seals sure did their work. I feel as if I could go faster. He thought, let me not test my luck just yet. I do not want to get into enemy territory tired. I have to be prepared for anything. With that, he kept at the same pace he was going. If he kept it up, he could get to the designated place in an hour and a half. An hour and 40 minutes later, we see Naruto walking towards the village. He had on civilian clothing and a well-placed hunched no jutsu of an average 15-year-old boy. He was wearing a normal black kimono top with black pants and a deep red sash around his waist. On the back of his kimono, he had an amazing stormy maelstrom designed into the fabric. He was using his sensory skills to detect any high concentration of strong chakra signatures. After 2 minutes of search, he detected 35 chakra signatures. 3 of them were high Chunin and the other 32 were high Chunin to mid Chunin signatures, meaning 2 things. 1, the information wasn't accurate, and 2, he had to use a jutsu that could wipe at least half of them out in a small amount of time. Luckily he had just the right jutsu for that. This one was a jutsu he created by using his Renton chakra to create a storm above a certain place, and using the natural lightning of the storm he creates a black wolf that descends from the clouds and kills anything within a half of a mile radius. He was working on improving it to make it at least an S rank. Right now the jutsu is on its beginning stages, meaning it's not at full potential. After all, it's just an A rank jutsu. Going into the village as a civilian, he walked into a nearby inn that had a private hot spring and an average food service. Hey miss, I wanted to book a room with 1 bed for 3 days if it is possible. The receptionist looked at him and said, how old are you, young man? I am 15 and I am on a vacation from my job as a chef in my town. I am the son of the owner of a small restaurant, so I have to help in the family business. I am really tired. Can I have the room please? He said, rubbing his head sheepishly. Is the okay, young man? I just wanted to make sure you were going to be able to pay the bill. That being said, Naruto paid the bill under the name Mema Yamamoto and went into his designated room. The next day we see Mema walking around the village doing some tourism and sightseeing. He loved architecture and anything related to it. If he was an actual civilian, he would have been an architect. Enough thinking of what could have been and focus on what is. With that thought, he started going around and asking people about how the town safeties and who is the local architects to talk about creating a house in this lovely town. Walking around, he opted to go inside a bar to get some information. After coming out, he had a massive grin on. Inside the bar, he saw one of the bandits boasting to some girls about his and his group's strength, and that they were going to hit a big merchant caravan tomorrow morning. Going into an ally, Naruto created a clone to follow the bandit and infiltrate their camp to get as much information as possible. After doing so, he went to his room to rest for the night. After all, he was waking up early tomorrow to be able to catch the bandits off guard. He needed a plan, so he left another clone to make up some contingency plans and another to track the merchant caravan and change their trajectory so they don't become a problem when the mission starts. After all, one always has to have a contingency plan for the contingency plan. He could never be too sure in his line of work. That being said, he went to sleep. Tired from today and thinking about going home right after the enemies were dealt with. Time skip. What the hell is that? Cried a man looking up to the sky and saw a massive black wolf growling at him and his comrades, with a howl that chilled everyone's spine. The big wolf came down and bit off some of the bandits' heads and then exploded. What happened to get here, you may ask yourself? Well, let's go back a couple of minutes with Naruto. Flashback. Naruto was calmly walking through the path the merchant caravan was supposed to take before he made them go a different path using a genjutsu suggesting that they take a longer route. Hey kid, where are you headed, and what is a little Konoha genin doing so far from his village? Asked a tall ninja with an Iwa headband that had a scratch through the plate signifying that he was a missing nin, and judging by his attire he was a chunin. Well, I was taking a vacation from my ninja duties in a hotel in the next village. Why would you care if I might ask, Iwa-san? Said the little Konoha's genin. If that's so, you do know that you have to pay up to pass through this path, am I correct? The Iwa nin said in a smug tone. Is that so? Naruto asked, like if the man in front of him was not a threat at all. Yeah, it is. After all, we would not want to kill such a pitiful excuse of a nin as yourself, said the man with another 17 or so ninjas coming out of the bushes. At the threat, Naruto took a deep breath and faster than any of the man could see he kicked the guy in front of him about a meter away from him and went through a quick sequence of 20 hand seals, calling it the end. Ranten, Kuro no Uekami. After that, the clouds in the sky converged and it started raining from the clouds. A massive black wolf formed and let out a blood-shuddering howl. Flashback end. After the massive howl, the shinobis tried to run, but faster than the eyes could see, the wolf came crashing into them, ripping them apart. Coming out of the foliage, the remaining 15 bandits decided that they wanted revenge for their fallen comrades. Running towards the kid, 12 of them decided to engage him in a taijutsu match. Quickly wanting to finish the fight with the least amount of waiting, Naruto decided that he would fight them using his genjutsu skills. That being, he unsheathed his sword with the elegance of a samurai. Naruto started a dance around the chunins, effortlessly killing them off via decapitation or hitting them on vital spots that would kill them quickly but efficiently. Throughout this, the 3 junins were paying close attention to the kid, looking for any weakness on his genjutsu. Seeing none, they decided that they would kill him using a combination of Tai ninjutsu and a coordinated attack. After what seemed like 10 minutes, Naruto finished fighting the chunins, leaving none alive. Coming out of the fight with some bruises and a deep cut on one of his forearms, Naruto decided to examine his remaining enemies. Within a second, he noticed that the one in the middle was one S-rank missing nin by the name Ryosuke of the Hidden Cloud Village. He is known in the bingo book as Ryosuke, the Lighting Dragon of Kumo, also known for his impressive control over the lightning element, and his great skill in taijutsu. His known weakness, as stated in the bingo book, is genjutsu being below average on it. The other 2 were 2A ranked shinobi known for their impressive use of fire manipulation and teamwork. Seeing the kid gave a good fight to the chunins, Ryosuke wanted to see if the kid wanted to join him. Impressive. Killing of 27 of my men with just a few injuries and only using a combination of ninjutsu and genjutsu. How old are you and what is your name, if I may ask? He said in an amused tone. At this, Naruto saw it as a time to do a quick recovery while also having more time to analyze his opponents and formulate a plan. My name is Naruto Uchiha, and I am 9, but you don't have to know more. After all, you will die in a couple of minutes. Naruto knew he sounded cocky by saying that, but it's easier to fight an enraged opponent because that way they will commit more mistakes. Ryosuke smiled and said, why so confident, brat? I am on 2nd ranked after all. With an arrogant tone, feeling proud of his achievement. True that, but even a cage could fall from a well-placed kunai behind the head, Naruto said with a smirk. Ryosuke just scoffed and said, well, let's see how you do against 3 junins, getting ready for the fight that's about to come. Let's dance, said Naruto. Within a span of a second, the battle started, kick and punches flying, the adrenaline of a life or death situation pumping into killing intent so thick that it could be cut with a kunai. A couple of minutes into the fight, we see a bruised up Naruto getting backhanded into a tree. Well kid, that was a really good exercise. Any last words? Said Ryosuke, looking straight into Naruto's eyes. Actually yes, I have a few. Naruto said with a hint of a smirk. Oh, do tell. What are they? Said Ryosuke. Never look at an Uchiha in the eyes, Tsukuyomi. I am not gonna write a torture session, just imagine something that could mentally break someone. After 2 seconds, Ryosuke fell to the ground unconscious. Looking up from his defeated enemy, he decided that he didn't want to fight anymore, so looking at the other two Chunins, he decided to kill them via using Amaterasu on them. Cutting the heads of the remaining Chunins, he decided to go back to the village right away. His vision was worsening a lot and he could barely see. That being said, he took off, leaving only the ashes of his enemies as the only proof that anything happened there in the first place. Getting to the village a day early, he went to the Hokage's office to report the success of his mission. After all the pleasantries were over, he gave a written report of the things that happened during the mission and took off home to talk to his aunt about getting a transplant. Tadema, said one Naruto going into his home. Okay, Naruto-kun, I'm in the kitchen, he heard his surrogate mother say. Walking to the kitchen, he saw his mother preparing the dinner. Hey Okula-san, how are you? Said Naruto, hugging his mother. I'm okay, Sochi. You are home early. How's your eyesight? Did anything happen? You look so banged up. What happened? She was going to keep asking questions, but Naruto stopped her. I'm okay, mother. I think I need the transplant. I could see but mostly blurry, and I look so banged up because in the mission there was an S-ranked ninja involved. He answered his worried mother's questions. Okay, we'll do the transplant after dinner. With that being said, they sat down at the table to wait for Sasuke to come down from his room. Walking into the kitchen, Sasuke saw his cousin and said, Sup Roto, I see you got your ass kicked bad, huh? With an amused smile. Seeing his cousin like this was funny because his cousin has been always seen as a prodigy, and to know that people could kick his ass was comforting, knowing that he was not invincible. No dud, I call it a wake-up call. I need to train more so people don't kick my ass so bad next time. Moreover, I could still kick your ass with my eyes closed, you know that, Naruto said amusedly. At this, Sasuke only grunted and sat down on the table, grumbling about how unfair it is to have so many prodigal people in his family. And dumb-ass gray-eyed bastard. Mikoto was only looking at them with an amused smile. She always enjoyed seeing her two kids playing around, and seeing them go back and forth is always funny. Well, when is the ANBU entrance ceremony? Asked Mikoto, knowing that he was not an official ANBU yet. Naruto just smiled amusedly. The commander told me that it was going to be happening in 2 days at noon, saying something about getting some of the lazy-ass corps ready for their new comrades' upcoming end statement, chuckling at how the stoic commander seemed so childish, complaining about his subjects. Mikoto, being an ex-ANBU, knew that it must be some of the Naras in ANBU. Ugh, they are so lazy, I bet that they would even sleep throughout an invasion. Giggling at her thoughts, she said, well, at least you know that you are going to be initiated within this week. I swear it took Itachi a week because there were some lazy asses not showing up, stating it was too troublesome to do such things. Sasuke was confused. After all, he didn't remember there ever being a ceremony for ANBU and statement. Sensing his confusion, Naruto looked at him and said, well, you wouldn't know because only shinobi of Jonin or higher attend this meeting because they have the clearance to. That being said, Sasuke nodded and said, well, that sucks. I wanted to see you getting your mask in front of the other ninjas from our village. Time skipped 2 days. Looking at the gathered crowd, the ANBU commander started talking with a hidden smirk. Well, looks like the threat of intensive training did the job. I guess I should really step up you guys' training if you guys are getting this lazy. At the end of his speech, the smirk turned into a sadistic one, seeing the shivers that went through some of the people in the crowd. Anyways, we're here to establish 3 new recruits into our forces, one of which is 9 years old. I bet some of you may be thinking that he is too young or inexperienced to be here. Well, you are not totally wrong, but he was recommended by our last commander Anu, and you guys know how hard it is to get his approval in this sort of situations. Therefore, here I present to you guys the 3 new recruits, he said, gesturing for the 3 people behind the stage to come up. One of them was a guy who worked from the main branch. Judging by the lack of seal on his forehead and pale eyes, he was wearing an ANBU attire with a Tano strapped to his back. His hair was brown and had a lightly black streak running down the side of one of his bangs. The other one was a female. She had black hair in a loose ponytail. She was wearing the female version of the ANBU uniform. The only difference was the red obi tied to her waist that had a katana strapped to her side. The katana had a white handle and was in a midnight blue sheath. Other things one could see is that her nails were painted black with fingerless gloves on. And last but not least was Naruto. He was wearing a slightly modified ANBU uniform. The difference in his uniform was that he had a small Uchiha emblem in his right pectoral with a storm surrounding it. In his back, he had his ultra-trusty Chakudo Stormbringer, and instead of kunai holsters he had a Senbon holster and seals painted on his wrists. His black hair was shaggy. Think of Kirito style from SAO, just a little more loosely. and his gray eyes were as stoic as ever. Well, if you don't know who they are, let me introduce to you guys, Ayako, scholarly child, Uchiha half-sister of Kurenai, Akira Iwaka, and Naruto Uchiha, the little brother of Shunshin no Shisui. Please give them a big welcome, said the commander with a hidden smirk, knowing that the revelation of Ayako's heritage will have stunned the people gathered and most of all his young charge. Naruto was stunned. After all, there is another Uchiha left. She looked only a couple of years older than him, maybe 2 or so, but he could ask her about that later. Now that I presented you guys, come up and grab your masks, said the commander. Coming up, they saw 3 rows of masks from every animal. Some of them were black, meaning that if they wanted that mask they had to wear it in that color due to someone already having that mask. The only ones that were not there were the gamma, lion, crow, fox, owl, raven and weasel. The first 6 because they are retired or killed in action, and the last one because Itachi killed of his clan and became Rouge, giving people with that mask a bad omen. The first to walk up was Ayako. She took the hummingbird mask. Next was Akira, he took the eagle mask, and the last one to walk up was Naruto. He was in between taking the black wolf or the falcon. Thinking back on his personality, he started listing what people told him he was like. He protected his family, loved the moon, was cunning, loves hunting and is prideful. Thinking back on that, he chose the black wolf. He was the leader of his pack but liked doing things on his own, not burdening others. With that in mind, he thought he could be the alpha of his pack, his family. Dragon nodded to himself, thinking that the animal he liked that the mask they selected complemented their personalities and or strong points. The eagle was a bird of prey and had a really good vision. The hummingbird is a swift and to the point type of bird, and the wolf was loyal to his family and had a strong personality. Yes, those masks were fit for them. Well, without further ado, I present to you the newest addition to the family, eagle, hummingbird, and black wolf. Now you can all go to celebrate or whatever is that you do in your free time. You 3, present tomorrow for your team assignments, said Dragon with a tone of finality. A and B changing rooms. We now see Naruto getting changed into his normal ninja outfit, thinking about a certain Ravenet with red eyes. I guess I could talk to her and Kurenai about it. After all, she's an Uchiha and maybe they could bond, becoming friends or something. Plus, she's not pure Uchiha just like I wish that Kurenai had told me of this sooner. I mean, aren't we friends? She should have at least trusted me with this much. Well, he couldn't do anything about it. After all, she might be an Uchiha, but she did not have to answer to them since she did not grow up as one. Time skip. It's been a day since the Anbu initiation ceremony. Naruto was walking throughout the streets of Konoha. He had an apathetic look on his face. Besides, he was one of his brother figures. Are you able to go to our training session? It's going to be around 11 a.m. All the others are going to be there and Kurenai is bringing her younger sister, asked the man. Aniki, I'm going, but be honest with me. Did you know that Nai-chan had a sister and that her sister was a half Uchiha? Asked Naruto, wanting his older brother figure to be honest with him. Kakashi, knowing that Naruto hated being left out of the loop, chose to be transparent. With that, he sighed and said, yes, I know. After all, I helped her with her Sharingan. She's a prodigy just like you and I. She awoke her Sharingan at the age of 7, and ever since she was hidden from the Uchiha clan because she was not born into the clan like all of her other clansmen and herself. But if I say so myself, she is almost at her level. Kakashi said in a tired voice, let's see what you do with this information, Ototo. Okay, then I'll be there. It's nice to know that there are still some of us left, Naruto said, breaking his stoic face and giving Kakashi a small smile, the one that he only gives to his family. And this is the end of this story. I hope you all like the video and subscribe to my channel. And please watch other playlists I make. And please help me grow my channel. And please recommend me any Naruto stories you all like to listen. I hope you all fine.